And thank you for your time, Viola. And such an honor and privilege to be chatting to the country director for MOT.
Yes.
Viola, please tell us a little bit more about MOT. I'm sure there are lots of people listening, watching this who are like, I've heard about MOT, but I'm not sure. What are you guys all about?
Or my best is when they say MOT.
Yes.
So mut is a Norwegian word that actually means courage, and the reason we've got that branding is because mut actually started out in Norway. So it means courage, and that's really what we talk about. We talk about how do we get people to show courage. We have a very strong focus on youth, and I think all South African youth require this message about showing courage. It doesn't matter which demographic you're part of, which economic grouping you find yourself part of. I think the message of showing courage in today's society and with all the challenges our youth face is a very important message to them. So we, as MOT, we're an NGO that tries to, and we very successfully actually build resilience and a positive mindset in our youth. And I don't know if any of you know, but Friday was Suicide Awareness Day. And when we start looking at the statistics in terms of the role suicide is playing in actually decimating and discouraging our youth, we need to have more awareness of their resilience and their mental state. So MOT really does that by working with colleges and with schools. We're mainly in high schools, and we focus on 3 values mainly. It's the courage to care, the courage to live, and the courage to say no. And Jonathan, if I can just unpack those very, very quickly. When we talk about the courage to care, we talk about how do I care for people beyond my immediate circle. And it can be something as simple as just, do I look at the person, acknowledge them, and greet them? Do I show them that level of respect? And that's when we talk about the courage to care. The courage to live, we talk about self-leadership, but we're also very aware of the fact that if you can't lead yourself, how are you expected to lead others? And many of our youth are finding themselves in youth-led households or child-led households, and they have to provide a level of leadership to their siblings or to somebody else who's left in their care. So we talk about the courage to live. And then finally, the courage to say no. And with MOT's program, we don't focus on don't do this, don't do that, which is sometimes the temptation. What we focus on is what is the vision you have for yourself, and now how do we help you build very strong boundaries around that vision? Because when you have a vision for yourself and you've got strong boundaries around that vision, you will know what you're going to say no to and what you're going to say yes to, because everything you say yes to is to build you or get you closer to that vision of yourself. So those are the focus areas for us, and we're now starting to work in areas where we're finding that adults are saying to us, Viola, you as MOT, bring the team in as a corporate. We need to build a level of resilience even within our adults, especially in this post-COVID culture. And that's what we do. And we love doing what we do. We've just completed our study with UWC, and we spoke about the impact of the MOT program, specifically on our kids in college. And we have found that when kids go through the MOT program, they have a higher level of resilience. So the retention rate of young people who have entered college is much higher. They actually stay the course when they've done the MOT program. We have a higher pass rate in terms of our control group, and then we also have a better quality of passes. So kids who went through the MOT program actually have more distinctions than kids who don't. So we've been able to see the impact of our program, and that's really what's got us excited about the work that we do.
That is truly very exciting, and can hear your passion. I love it. I love it to bits. We don't have a lot of time, but I'm definitely going to be booking you for another interview because it's kind of really feels like a story of hope. And, those who listen to CCFM, to the breakfast show, would know that's one of the things we love focusing on. In terms of the press conference that you guys had where Dan Carter was one of the guests and really brought a fantastic message to the young people, what are you guys looking and hoping to achieve now that Dan's just really given his voice of support?
I think really one of the things that was great is when he was asked the question, what would you have done differently? One of his answer was, I would have done very little differently, but what I would have focused on more was my mental health and my mental sort of strength. And it was so great to hear him say that, because that's exactly what we're just trying to get. people to understand, students, people who are in the world of work already, that you have to give attention to your mental stability and your mental strength and your levels of resilience. And we are finding that more and more corporates, more and more moms and dads are starting to say, we're putting our kids under so much pressure to perform either physically or academically, but we're really not giving enough time to that. And it was great to have Dan actually messaging that for us and underlining the work that MOT does. And it was, it was really just a moment to just have him inspire our young people. And a lot of his message, Jonathan, was around this whole resilience issue and just really focusing on mental state and, just focusing on the values. He used the word values so many times in his discussion and talk about his life. And so it was great to have him, just basically underline and underpin the work that MOT does.
Absolutely. Where can people go? What website can they go to find out more about MOT?
www.mut.org.za. And then, of course, they've got our telephone number, which is 021696610. And, of course, they can get us on all socials, which is going to be MOT South Africa on Insta, Twitter, Facebook, etc.
Viola, thank you so much for your time. Great chatting to you, and we're definitely going to chat again.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Take care.
You too. Bye now.